The busiest travel day of the year. Once again, it's like a broken record. Every single year we say this, and every single year more and more Americans take to the skies or the roads, like me, to kick off Memorial Day weekend. Hey, it's Bill. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio, the live stream. I hope you enjoy the weekend. Memorial Day weekend, it's one of those balancing acts, isn't it? You don't say Happy Memorial Day weekend because you have to respect the somberness of the holiday, yet this is the official start of summer for most people, except if you live in Florida, which is summer all the time. But you know what I'm saying. So instead of Happy Memorial Day, just Memorial Day. But what about these gas prices? Talked about this, was it 4 or 5 days ago? The China deal and what Trump said over in China, what that means with our gas prices. Now we've got Memorial Day. And what he said, and I've learned this over the years, there's a rule of three I've discovered in following Trump for all these years. When he says something 3 times and hints at it, something's up. Something's going on. I think it means good news. But here's the problem. Not in time for this Memorial Day. Gas prices at a record high. You feel it too. Everybody does. But it doesn't seem to be stopping anybody. Anyway, we'll get into all this. And a little travel update from heading from PBI, soon to be DJT, to LaGuardia Airport yesterday. I can tell you, packed. Anyway, exit 5 to the live stream. Wicked Radio live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on X, YouTube, Facebook, and all that good stuff. But especially the audio podcast, where we like to get those. Appreciate it. Let's get right to it. Where are we right now with these gas prices and travel records? Well, let's get to both of them right now. And I'm telling you, for doing this for decades now, this is, from this talk radio, the adult contemporary format, country radio format. Anyways, breaking this down for audiences, I'm telling you, it's like a broken record. It's the same exact story every single year. I could, except for the prices, I could tell you the exact same thing from last year. Once again, here it is. AAA is projecting a new Memorial Day record with 45 million Americans traveling 50-plus miles, 39.1 by car. That's 87% of travelers. There's your gas prices, 3.66 million flying. It's the same thing every single year. It goes up and up and up. I can't tell you where there was ever a dip in the number of travel. So it's not affecting anybody. This is what this tells me. Consumer confidence is still at an all-time high. This is what tells me that I'm not alone in what I said, I think it was 4 days ago we talked about this one. It's a gamble. People are gambling that they're not going to stop their vacation plans because of gas prices. They'll put it on a credit card. It's sad because so many millions of Americans are going into debt. I get that. But it's not stopping their plans. I think it's something else. I think people are gambling on these prices going down pretty soon. There may be some hints on that, but there's also this. But first, let's get to what these prices are. I know you're feeling it. I am too. Now, this is the national gas average. Like California is going to be way higher than this. Iowa, probably lower. But the national gas average as of this morning, the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, is $4.56 a gallon. Too high. Highest Memorial Day prices in 4 years, up significantly from last year. We all know this, right? We all know. We're all feeling it. We're all pretty ticked off about it. But where's it going from here? Well, first of all, let's get to some updates now and what the story's all about as far as CNN is concerned. You know what that's going to be. You know exactly what it's going to be. It's blame Trump all the time. Here's my question for you. When and if, I'm gambling when, these gas prices go down, what is CNN going to talk about? Byron Donalds, Congressman Byron Donalds, who, by the way, is probably going to be the next governor of the great state of Florida. He had a little kerfuffle on CNN yesterday talking about this very same thing. Now, they're yelling back and forth. It's hard to listen to, but he makes a good point, and here he is.
You're conflating issues. Number one,
no,
if you want to talk gas prices, yes, you are. If
I am not conflating issues. I'm a vehicle for the concerns that come from everyday Americans.
Well, let's be very clear about gas prices. The reason why oil prices are high on the world market is because the Iranian regime, once again, a theocratic dictatorship, is wanting to force the strait closed because they would rather foment terror and have nuclear weapons, and they want to put pressure on the West through oil prices. That's why gas prices are high. That's not because of economic policy in the United States. That's because of the Iranian regime's death grip on power. That's a very different situation than the funds you want to talk about.
And then the Iranians shut down the Strait of Hormuz. That is an accurate statement.
You just said what I just said. The Iranian.
Well, she made a good point, though. Okay, sure, you can. That's obviously, where they're coming from with this. That's their whole angle. It's going to blame Trump all the time. When these gas prices go down again, I'm gambling on when. They're not going to talk about this at all. If again, I'll say when. They go down to $2 a gallon and under. This story will be wiped off the front pages of every major publication, media, digital publication that is, and CNN will spend zero airtime on this. Byron Donalds making the point yesterday that this is because of the Iran deal. Now, let's talk about this. Where are we now? I told you in the introduction there, I have a rule of three that I've kind of discovered and developed over the years, trying to figure out what the heck Trump is talking about all the time. He has some tells. Usually when he says he's going to walk away from a negotiation deal, anything, world market, business leaders here, unions, whatever it is, he never really walks away, but that's his threat to do it and usually gets what he wants. There's another method he does, and he said he talked about this years ago in the 80s. When did Art of the Deal come out? 1984? Where he says you ask for in a negotiation the most ridiculous possible thing with anybody, no matter who you're sitting across the table with. That sounds ridiculous. Everybody mocks it, but he sounds dead serious about it. They come back with a counter offer, which is more than actually what you wanted, but it's less than the ridiculous offer, and he gets what he wants. That's another one. And it works like almost all the time for the guy. Here's the third one that I've noticed over the years. Just because I kind of filter through so many news stories and so many things he says, usually, I put it at about 95% of the time. When he says something three times in almost the exact same kind of way, something's up. And he knows something, and something more likely than not is already done. And in this case, kind of like with China and the China trip the other day when he was talking about oil prices coming down, this is more about Iran. Now, over the past 3 days, and we'll start currently and then go backwards on it, these are the 3 times he said that oil prices are coming down because something is going on with Iran. Let's hope it's not a major conflict. Let's hope they just play ball. No American lives are lost. That would be fantastic. But something's going on. This just yesterday from the White House. Now, this was all part of the negotiation with the EPA in there, and they're getting rid of that refrigeration rule, which has kind of choked out small business. This is the same press conference where they had the guy from Piggly Wiggly, the Piggly Wiggly CEO, talking about how refrigeration is raising the cost of all of his goods and all this other stuff. But inevitably, of course, the line of questioning and the Q&A at the end of this thing was about gas prices. This is what he said, and here's the first hint. Listen to what he says.
That'll end soon, very soon. And when it ends, your gasoline prices will go down lower than they were before. I left Iowa a few months ago, and gasoline was at $1.85 a gallon. And we'll be hitting numbers like that again.
All right, that's one. And you could listen to this and say, of course he's going to say that, right? Of course he's going to say that. Gas prices an all-time high or all-time high in his administration. Okay, fine, that's one thing. Maybe that's just that's just the messaging, the PR that a president's going to get out there. But he also directly said that the Iran conflict, epic fury, the war with Iran, however you want to frame this thing, is ending very soon. Okay, that's one thing. Playing devil's advocate, you could also say he also said that 2 weeks ago. He doesn't really mean it, Bill. All right, well, maybe. But just play along here for a second. It's not the first time you've heard this. Let's go back 2 days ago now. This is a Tarmac one where he said almost the exact same thing.
And on the Iran, I had no choice because they were going to have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to give them a nuclear weapon. But that's going to end soon, one way or the other. Oil is going to come tumbling down. There's so much oil. We have 1,600 ships in the Strait that are loaded up with oil that are going to be coming out very soon.
Okay, that's the second time we've heard this, working backwards, but the second time we've heard it. He also said something very similar in that Beijing trip where he said, there's so much oil, there's so much there, they're choking on it, they got to be able to release it soon. Okay, that's fine. Let's go for the third time. Remember, the rule of three with Trump, when he says something, not just about the oil prices, but when he talks about Iran conflict ending soon. If he says this in almost the same exact way 3 times, something's up. This is from 3 days ago.
Now we're blowing it away. We're blowing everything away, and we're going to end that war very quickly. They want to make a deal so badly. They're tired of this. Should have happened for 47 years. Somebody should have done something about it, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast, and you're going to see oil prices plummet. They're going to come down. There's so much oil out there. They're going to come plummet.
Why 3? When he says something 3 times, maybe it's more than 3. I don't know. But I just look for the 3, and he's probably said it 10 times, in private and in public, whatever, and written it down in Truth Social, whatever it is. Fine. That's enough for me to gamble on the when gas prices are coming down, not the if. It's going to happen eventually. on the Iran front, he's hinting at something here. Either them giving up or they're just going to go full bore because they're not behaving again. Something's happening here. And you hope it's not a conflict. You certainly hope not. That this can be solved without certainly any American lives being lost, especially over Memorial Day weekend, but any lives being lost. He doesn't say something like that often in that exact same way unless something's up and maybe something is already on the way. And that's what the stock market also looks for. Something's going on. That's why I'm gambling on if they're coming down, not when. But apparently, it's not stopping anybody from traveling. I just had the, once again, broken record AAA story there about the record number of Americans traveling by air and by car. Let me just tell you this as I sit here in the middle of New York City in Manhattan right now. Streets are packed. Well, that's New York. That's all the time, right? Yeah, airport was packed. Okay, it was LaGuardia. That's also busy. Okay, I left from PBIA in Florida, soon to be DJT, by the way. Roads were packed yesterday morning. Airport was packed. Full flight. Every other flight I saw was packed. It's Memorial Day weekend, and this isn't stopping anybody's travel plan, ever. Now, you could look back at the COVID era where people said, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not going to cancel my travel plans for anything. I don't care how much travel costs. I don't care. Maybe that's a factor. But also, it's not enough to stop American consumer confidence. Something else is going on. And I think it's this. I'm not the only one gambling on if, not when, gas prices are coming down. I think they are, but it's not stopping people from traveling right now. A big philosophy out there, and I've actually talked to people in the airport yesterday about this thing, about gas prices. It all affects airline tickets and everything else. The price of hotels, everything is affected by this, right? I can't tell you how many times I heard this yesterday from fellow travelers, talking to a lady on the plane yesterday with me. Yeah, I know, this is really high, but I think it's going to get better soon. That's the main sentiment out there that's happening right now, and that's a good, positive thing. So much of this stuff is psychological, which is why it's important to look at somebody like Trump saying 3 times or more, those oil prices are coming out soon, it's going to be unbelievable. Okay, maybe. Also consider this. Let's think about the leverage factor of this whole thing. We're getting closer and closer and closer to the midterms. Do you think this guy wants these oil prices to stay where they are and gas prices and Americans paying what we're paying right now? Yeah, we missed the boat on Memorial Day. We were all hoping that the gas prices would be better for this weekend and beyond. Everybody wanted that. But more importantly, and I hate to do it, but you got to look at the politics of this entire thing. They really want the price of goods and services and transportation to go down. It makes your team, in other words, way more electable. That's another factor. That's why I'm gambling. But you got to make your own choice. You have to be able to decide. Are people curtailing their travel plans because of this stuff? I don't think so. I haven't seen it. So I don't know. Didn't stop me. It's probably not stopping you either. But wherever you are, remember, I have to stop myself from saying Happy Memorial Day. That's not the word. It's Memorial Day. Remember what the actual holiday is all about coming up on Monday is, we lost some great, great American heroes over this. Let's not forget them. But at the same time, balancing that out with having a great time living your life, not letting gas prices stop your travel plans, apparently, because we're not alone in that. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you so much. No matter what you got going on this weekend, traveling or not, make it a safe one. Make it a wicked awesome Friday. Make it a wicked awesome weekend. And the takeaway, you got to be able to read leaders like Trump. Look for that rule of 3. You'll start to notice how often he does things. And when he gets to the 3rd point, something's up and something's going on. So just got to read the tea leaves with that guy or any of them. Thanks for finding me in the live stream Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, X, YouTube, Facebook, and then the replay, wherever you want, whenever you want. Those same channels right there, but most importantly, the audio podcast on Apple and iTunes and Spotify and Spreaker and I don't know, wherever else you find them. It's everywhere. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you so much. Make it a wicked awesome weekend. I'll talk to you later.